Russian bombers fly over the neutral waters of Norway. According to the Defense Ministry, 2 Russian strategic bombers flew normal missions over the Norwegian Sea and Barents Sea off the northern coast of Norway. The 295C long-range bombers flew for 5 hours and, according to the ministry, did so in strict compliance with international airspace regulations. No prospects for extending the grain agreement, Russia. The Black Sea grain export agreement is due to expire in the middle of July, and according to Russia's foreign ministry, there are no plans to extend it. The ministry was quoted by the TASS news agency as saying that ship inspections had resumed and that it was continuing its discussions with the UN. A new round of negotiations between Russia and the UN will take place on June 9 in Geneva, Switzerland, according to the RIA Novosti news agency. Russia has threatened to withdraw from the agreement numerous times, claiming that there are still barriers in the way of its exports of food and fertilizer. Cross-border attacks a distraction for wider offensive, journalist Yulia Shapovalova, reporting from Moscow, stated military analysts have said that the recent cross-border attacks in Belgorod were a distraction for a greater attack in Donetsk. The main focus is on the border region of Belgorod now, and in the morning, the Ukrainian army fired more than 70 shells and launched multiple rocket systems at the village which borders the town of Shebekino in the Belgorod region, Shapovalova said. Locals say the town of Shebekino has been wiped off the face of the earth now. There is no electricity, water or Wi-Fi service in the city right now. Shapovalova added that while some people in Shebekino have gone into temporary accommodation centers, many villagers and farmers have said they cannot leave their livestock behind. Russian officials claim they prevented a Ukrainian effort to enter Belgorod. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, on Sunday, there was an effort by the Ukrainian military to enter the Belgorod region. Moscow reported that air and artillery attacks had claimed more than 10 Ukrainian fighters. During a cross-border incursion into the Belgorod region on Sunday, a Kremlin-opposing organization claimed to have arrested a number of soldiers who it would later turn over to Ukrainian authorities. Vyacheslav Gladkov, the governor of Belgorod, also reported clashes with Ukrainian saboteurs at Novaya Tavolzhenka. Ukraine claims to be unaware of the Donetsk offensive. Ukraine's military says it has no information of an offensive on the front line in Donetsk. Russia claimed that Kyiv had launched at 5 different locations. "We do not have such information and we do not comment on any kind of fake news," a spokesperson for the Ukrainian Armed Forces General Staff said in response to a question from the Reuters news agency. No response to the Donetsk assault, Dmitry Peskov, the Kremlin spokesman, avoided questions about Ukraine's counteroffensive during his daily press conference, according to the Russian news agency TASS. Peskov advised journalists to direct any inquiries regarding the special military operation to the Ministry of Defense, citing the ministry's statement regarding the alleged offensive. Earlier on Monday, the Russian Defense Ministry said its forces thwarted a large-scale offensive in 5 sectors of the front in the South Donetsk direction. Ukrainian grain yields may decrease by 20%. Although the majority of Ukraine's winter grain harvests are in good health, grain yields could decrease by 20% if dry and hot weather continues, according to agricultural scientists quoted by the APK-Inform consultancy organization. Following the start of Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February of last year, grain output dropped from a record 86 million tons in 2021 to approximately 53 million tons in 2022. According to the ministry, the crop in 2023 could drop to 44.5 million tons. In general, weather conditions for most of the spring period were sufficiently favorable for growth and development of winter cereal crops, Ukraine's National Academy of Agrarian Sciences said in a report. However, in case of continuation of dry weather in the period of grain filling, especially on the background of high air temperatures, the share of lost yields can be from 15% to 20%. Wagner boss says settlement near Bakhmut retaken by Ukraine. Leader of the Wagner Group, Yevgeny Prigozhin, says Ukrainian forces have retaken part of the settlement of Berkivka, north of Bakhmut. Now part of the settlement of Berkivka has already been lost, the troops are quietly running away. Disgrace. Prigozhin said in an audio message published by his press service. He urged Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu and the Chief of the General Staff, Valery Gerasimov, to come to the front to rally the troops. "Come on, you can do it," he said. And if you can't, you'll die heroes. Prigozhin's private army captured Bakhmut last month after the longest battle of the war and handed its positions there to regular Russian troops. Earlier in the day, the commander of Ukraine's ground forces, Oleksandr Syrsky, said Ukrainian troops continued moving forward near Bakhmut.